Kidogo, lakini wakati nyingi ni vile tunalala njaa kwa sababu hatuna kitu.
Hannah has to rely on the goodwill of neighbors and members of her local church to support her family. Fighting back tears, Hannah said she wished people wouldn't be so cruel and wished employers would let infected people work for a living as long as they are able to.
Kuwasaidia pengine mtu afanye kazi kidogo kama biashara ambaye sio kitu ngumu ya kumshinda kubeba. Tu biashara tu kumsaidia na kusaidia watoto mambo ya kusoma, kwa sababu hiyo ndio inaleta shida sana. Ukifikiria hawasomi, hawana chakula, sasa hiyo inakuwa shida kubwa sana kwa wangu. Hata kama sio mgonjwa naanza kusikia mwili imelegea kabisa.
Hannah did not know her HIV status until she started getting opportunistic infections after birth, and doctors asked her to take an HIV test, confirming her worst fears. She was raped on her way to work one morning 18 months ago. She believes this is how she contracted the virus. Hannah's story is replicated across Kenya and across the continent. The churches, the mosques, and other religious organizations are best placed to provide support.
The reality of the situation is that HIV and AIDS is in the church. You can't run away from it. And the church just needs to realize that AIDS is not a sin, AIDS is a disease. That's what it is. And there are different ways in which AIDS can be contracted. But I think for too long we've focused on the sex issue when there are just so many other ways in which the disease is contracted. And education and information, I think, can change that.
On the basis of this principle, the Barmin Gilead, a non-profit, non-governmental organization based in New York, has started a partnership with faith organizations to tackle HIV/AIDS. The organization was founded 15 years ago in the U.S. to mobilize and educate black churches in the fight against HIV. The organization's founder, Penny Cecile, was in Nairobi to attend the ICASA conference. I asked her where the priority should be in the fight against HIV.
The priority must be everything, and therefore we must have everybody doing everything that they can do. You know, I think that those people and organizations who are addressing orphans, they must intensify their efforts on orphans. Those who are doing prevention must intensify their efforts in doing prevention. I think that we don't have the luxury of saying, well, we're going to do 1, 2, 3. We have to do all of them. 600 people are dying every day.
While in Nairobi, Penesa oversaw the launch of the Anglican Church National AIDS Control Office. Apart from the Anglican Church, her organization also works in partnership with the Kayole Calvary Covenant Center. She works with some 10,000 churches across America, mostly among black communities.
Just because the religious community does not want to address condoms does not mean they don't have a role to play. We must get every church, every mosque doing what they can to address HIV. And for those people on the outside who say that, well, I can't work with the church because they don't support condoms, they've missed the boat. And then we have churches and mosques who say, well, I can't do anything about HIV because I don't support condoms. So there's so much confusion because we put so much emphasis on the church and mosque must address condoms. And I think that has really been a very bad place. We've just missed the boat on it.
The church can no longer afford to shy away from HIV/AIDS. The role of the church in fighting AIDS has often been submerged in the controversy surrounding condom use. But is fighting AIDS really just about condoms?
The international community especially has tried to force the issue of condoms on the church. Now, I'm not here to take positions one way or the other, but the church in Africa in particular has already said the issue of condoms is a dead issue. They're not going to compromise on this issue. But that should not get in the way of becoming a part of the solution. There are just so many other ways that the church can become involved, as I said earlier, in information, in education, in training, in testing, and in providing care. Are we going to say that just because the church refuses to deal with the issue of condoms, that you should not be involved in these other activities? Absolutely not.
To reverse the alarming trend will clearly take concerted effort with every Kenyan doing whatever they can. The International Conference on AIDS in Africa, ICASA, had just gotten underway at the KICC. President Mwai Kibaki was on standby with his keynote address. But on that beautiful Sunday, I spent my day in the slums of Kayole, I was up and about the slums but didn't notice a single billboard on HIV/AIDS. I was also at the home of a young woman who is waging a lonely battle against the killer virus, and I couldn't help but wonder whether the delegates, especially the Kenyan ones, understood the seriousness of the problem. I wondered whether we are putting our money where our mouths are. But I was certain about one thing, that it is time we Kenyans took the battle against AIDS out of the boardrooms to the people, where the virus is wreaking havoc. For Nation's Flipside, Farida Karoney at the KICC.